Today I'm trying to make a pillowcase using the yarns I have in stock. It's a very easy stash buster, especially if you use a knitting machine. I have a stash of cotton yarns I don't know what to do with, because cotton yarns are not like wool yarn, not as soft and warm, and it's harder to knit or crochet because the fiber is harder and rougher. And I decided to make it into a pillowcase or a large throw pillowcase. And I just use my knitting machine to start from one side. I have about 66 stitches on my flatbed knitting machine, and I use out each color of a yarn and just change the yarn color and keep going, so it creates a striping effect. It's very plain knitted stitch, stockinette stitch. One side is knitted stitch and the other side looks like a purl stitch. And at the end I just hand knit a 1x1 ribbon. Maybe try to have a little bit smaller needle size so the stitch is not too big, because it's very hard to match the hand knitting and machine knit, so you have to experiment a little bit. And after I finish the edge on both sides, I'm going to see how it looks on my pillow. You can use standard pillow, it depends on the size you want. I have a bigger square pillow that's usually on the back of my sofa, and it seemed to fit perfectly. Let's look at the back side. I'm just going to do a very simple envelope like this one I have here, like overlapping a few inches. This one I saw it several years ago too. It's just a very simple plain envelope, and we want to make sure the overlapping area is not too big or too small. When it's overlapping too much, it's very difficult to insert the pillow, and if it's not deep enough, it might come out. You will see the insert, it gets too close to each other. Look like that after it's done. This is the back side. I haven't sewed it up yet, but I'm just going to show you. This is the edge and the overlap for a few inches, maybe 4 inches or so here. And this is the front side before sewing up. You have to play around with your size of the knitted piece and also the size of the pillow insert you have, and see which works best for you. So the next step is pretty simple. We turn it inside out and sew up the edges on both sides. So I flip it around, and that's how it looks like. Let me get closer. Here is the overlap, and we're going to sew up this edge here and the opposite side of the same edges, and then we're just going to turn over the pillow and put the insert in. So that's the insert I'm going to use. It's just a simple square. If you cannot find the same size or the right size for your knitting pieces, you can make your own. You can use an old pillow you don't use anymore, or you can buy inserts online or from craft store. I use my Brother 260 bulky knitting machine for this project, and I have it set on tension dial between 7 and 8, 7.5, and just plain knitting. You don't need a rubber bed, just a standard bed. And I believe I have like 66 stitches, and I have about 266 rows for worsted weight cotton yarn. If you want to find out how to cast on and cast off, or the basic method, check out my other videos for the basic cast on and cast off for the knitting machine. I will link it on the card in the corner and also in the description below. Here are some more yarns I have. I might have enough to make another pillowcase. And this is the yarn I use, Premier Home. For this yarn, it says it's 85% cotton and 15% polyester. The good thing about cotton yarns is it's washable and it's very sturdy. I mean, you can wash it in the washing machine and dry it without worry about felting like wool. And it's good if people have allergy and doesn't like to use wool. So I just pick a color, and I can either crochet it along the edges, or I can sew it. Just use a large eye needle. This is the needle I have. It's plastic with a large eye at the end. It's kind of broken, but I tape it over and it still works very well. So I just cut a piece of yarn, at least 3 times of the length for this edge. I'm just going to sew it up from one side to the other. I have the needle go under the chain on this side and the chain under the other side. And I tie a knot at the end. Actually, I tie 2 knots so it doesn't get loose. And I'm just going to do the same, go through under the chain. So under the chain, that means there are 2 strings of yarn, the left and right of the V, and then this side on the left and right of the V. You can do whatever works best for you. Just keep it consistent so it looks the same after you're done. So I tie the double knot and then I start to go under the chain. That's what it looks like. I also threaded every other stitches, so it will be this one, we'll skip 1 stitch, go next one and skip 1 stitch. It just makes everything go faster. So we just keep going like that. If you come to the loose end, because of the changing color, you can just tie it up. I usually tie a double knot. Here's another one, the joint. I tie double knot and just cut off the extra one. Just make sure it's secure, because it will be in the inside, so it doesn't have to look pretty. Another trick is to put binder clips along the edges, so that secures the fabric and it doesn't stretch out of shape, and we can make sure both sides are the same. Okay, that's what it looks like after I sew up this side. You can see when it's overlapping, you have 3 layers. That's what it looks like after I flip it inside out. So this is the back side. And this is the front side. Now I'm going to put in the pillow. This is what it looks like after I put in the pillow insert.